Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn with Sam's Sports Report. Today we're going to talk about Kansas State football and their big expectations, and Missouri's expectations and Kansas expectations. This is the first time since Mizzou has been in the top 25 and K-State and Kansas for the first time since 7. On Monday, released the preseason polls for 2024, according to KCTV5, Kansas State is number 18, Kansas is number 22, and Missouri is number 11. Mizzou has cracked for the 11th time in their history. Kansas State has cracked it for the 14th time. KU hasn't cracked it for a long time. This is according to KCTV5. Let's break down the Kansas State offense. Without having Will Howard this year, who was injured most of the year last year, and Avery Johnson came to fill him in, and he was better than Will Howard, which made him transfer to Ohio State. And also due to injury, Will Howard transferred to Ohio State and is hoping to lead one of the best teams in the country in Ohio State. I'm going to talk about Avery Johnson became a quarterback, but you're taking a sophomore on a chance versus a senior, so you never know how that's going to go. Avery Johnson has expectations to be a great quarterback, probably the best since Josh Freeman, who was one of the best quarterbacks of all time at K-State. The running back will get figured out by Kansas State. That's the bottom line. They've always had a good running game, and I don't see why that won't continue. The running back is DJ Guidance, an NFL-type running back. Joe Jackson is also a running back. Wide receivers for the Cats. Keegan Johnson, just 246 yards last year, played for Penn State. Jason Brown had 437 yards last year. Sterling Lockett, blood of a former player, Tyler Lockett for the Chiefs, and most famously the Chiefs, and Seahawk Kevin Lockett. His dad, remembered by the Chiefs as a local fan, and his son was also a member of the Kansas State Wildcats, both him and Tyler Lockett and Kevin Lockett. Jokie Spedley is a freshman. Quentin Rice is a transfer from BYU. This has to be in question at the wide receiver spot. Tight end Grayton Oakley will also be a question as he starts at tight end. The problem with the Kansas State Wildcats is, can they trust their receivers? Now let's go over the offensive line, who I'm sure will be good because of Kansas State's history. Center Sam Hurst.
Hacked.
Center Michael Carpre, sophomore backup. Right guard Garrett Oakley, and left guard Hadley Prenzel. Center East Kittle from North Dakota State. Guard Tyler Prater. Right tackle Craver Williams and Andrew Legan. Backup guard. Freshman tackle David Vase. We'll look at the Kansas State defense next time. Let's start out with talking about while everyone.
So I want to speak to you a little bit about when it might be appropriate to go see a therapist. I think this is a question that a lot of people are confused about and have some misconceptions about, and hopefully I can clear some of those up for you. My name is Dr. Sonia, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist with over 10 years of experience. And I've worked with people of all ages on smaller issues and bigger issues. And I think that's one of the most important points, is that sometimes we all need a little bit of help in life. And it doesn't have to be that your whole world is falling down before you seek the help of somebody for that outside clinical professional perspective. So I recently had the pleasure of working with somebody who graduated from therapy. They did quite well, and they were talking about a friend of theirs who had also had a recent struggle with a life issue. And that friend was saying, I don't know if I'm sick enough to see a therapist. And I think this is one of the most common misconceptions that people have about therapy, is that you have to have a serious problem or a really big problem in order to seek help. And the truth is, licensed counselors can help you with a variety of things that happen in life. You know, sometimes some of the things that we perceive as positive are still stressful. For example, getting married for a lot of people is the happiest thing that happens to them. Preparing for a marriage, however, can be one of the most stressful things. So seeking help for things like that can be equally important as seeking help for typical mental health conditions that people think of, like anxiety and depression. As a licensed counselor, and more importantly as a human, I've always wondered why we wait until the last possible moment to seek help for the things that we're struggling with. And I really like this idea that's beginning to emerge about emotional wellness. You know, we go to our primary care doc every year and get a physical and a checkup just to make sure that everything's okay. And I think that we really need to start to have the same mentality towards mental health and mental health issues. Why not be proactive and deal with the problems that are arising before they get to a crisis point? Why not check in with a licensed professional to make sure that everything is on the right track, or to maximize your potential, or to evaluate your strengths versus waiting until something's really going wrong? A great place to start exploring this idea of mental wellness and seeking help for the smaller life issues that arise is through online counseling. And the reason why is because online counseling is pretty convenient, accessible, and affordable. And so it's something where you can kind of dip your toe into the world of counseling and see if it's something that might be helpful or beneficial to you without having to go through the process of, talking to your insurance company and finding a therapist to go see and taking the time off of work. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find a lot more content on a variety of mental health topics. And if you're interested in learning more about online counseling, please click the link to betterhelp.com below.
After that video, let's talk about why everyone should see a therapist. It's different for everybody. My idea personally is wanting to talk in person, not online. And when you go to these things online that don't work for you, it always ends up having a hard time with that. If you believe differently, that's fine. Don't worry, I don't want to argue with you. When it's right to see a therapist, you will do it. It's not just because somebody has a mental illness. They need to see a therapist. Getting married is an exciting thing to come along with, but stress only leans back to that word of getting married. So the truth of the matter is, you'll need a psychologist for that. I wonder why we wait until the last possible moment to go get help. And then you end up, in places like me, mental health, illness, and goes through bipolar every day, wanting to avoid the thing that as much as possible, but I can't avoid it. Just like tomorrow, do you want to go break your toe tomorrow? It's basically the same thing, and how do you avoid to do that? Well, in my world, you see a psychologist or a therapist or somebody like a counselor or somebody that will help you. We need to have the same mentality as we have about mental health as we have about getting a checkup. When you get a checkup and you get crisis in your life, the worst things happen. Now there's a part of online that wants me to get into it, but then there's too many things going on. I tried to learn on BetterHelp, but I didn't get through it. And so it led me to deeper problems. But BetterHelp may help you. Dipping your foot in and trying it will definitely help you. And the prices are better. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam's Sports Report and Sam's Mental Health Day.